How is? I got the Madonna mic and he didn't.
Okay, just taking it out.
So you having fun? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so here we go, our speech. Before we start, I'm Stephen, and this is David.
And we're twins.
And we're, so 8.5 years ago...
All right, this is our journey. We're going to start our journey of why we're here, so here we go.
So 8.5 years ago, we were twin meatheads. And when I say the word meathead, what comes into people's minds?
What do you think of when we say meathead? What?
Meathead, rugby, right-wing,
yeah.
boozers, absolute woman-chasing, couldn't get...
Wankers, yes.
Okay.
We were all of that.
So we had all of that. And I went to an all-boys school, and for those of you... How many people in this room went to an all-boys school? Okay, for those of you who went to an all-boys school, how many of you spent a huge amount of your day defending the fact that you weren't a homosexual? It was something that comes ingrained with going to an all-boys school. So in the all-boys school, a way of getting great respect was being seen with hot chicks. And if you were kissing them, you were you were climbing the status. You were cool. Anyone know Robin Williams? Okay, Robin Williams once had a funny quote, which I'm going to say here. He said that men have enough blood to operate this head and this head, but not them both simultaneously. And both of us seem to be affected by gravity.
We were. This was 8.5 years ago.
The blood seemed to kind of just always hang around in the nether region. So we were kind of very much at a young age conditioned.
Like young bull. We were the young bull.
Yeah, we were the young bull. We were very much the young bull. Wait, where am I going with all this?
No, I'll go next. Okay. So I don't need the mic. So back then, this is 8.5 years ago, our definition of success was very much financial based, material based. We were going for the American dream. We always said 30 years of age, we'll be millionaires. For sure, millionaires. 40 years, we'll have lots of houses. Age of 50, private island. Let's go for private island. 60, we thought, sure, helicopter, private plane, whatever. Now, this was the dream that we were going for. Where do we go next?
Oh, yeah, okay, back. Is this back? Yeah, we decided we were about 22, and we decided we were training for a marathon.
Oh, no, we were both... Okay, so we both went to college and both did business degrees. Okay. And then we were training for a marathon. We decided, okay, let's do a marathon. Let's do something good. So we're training for the marathon, and, we're boozers. We're eating the usual diet that everyone else is eating. So we decided, okay, time to do a detox. And detox wasn't very kind of popular back then. It was 8 years ago, so... Dad had the World Wide Web in his house.
Ever know the World Wide Web?
World Wide Web. Commonly known as the internet nowadays. So Dad had the World Wide Web, so we went up to his house, did a bit of research on detox. So we went in a detox. So no burgers, no chips, pizza out the window. We started eating porridge instead of cornflakes in the morning, and, we were doing our detox. We gave up booze. That was the biggest thing. This was for a month before the marathon. And going great, saved lots of money, did the marathon, we did it in style. Completed the marathon, and everything was going great. And after the marathon, this was the end of October. So we decided, okay, couple of months till Christmas. Let's see if we can do it till Christmas, right? So we kept going, lasted till Christmas on this detox. And lo and behold, just before Christmas, we were meeting all the old school friends.
Hadn't seen him for a good few months, so the lads...
So this was it, climbing back on the wagon, meeting the lads again. So we went along, met the lads in the pub, and, both of us lined up our first
mentality,
pint.
the lads, the boys.
Yeah, tribe mentality, lowest common denominator. Here we go. So we took the first pint and, only managed half the pint. And like a pair of pansies, we went home, tail between our leg. We went home early and we decided, okay, change of scenery.
Okay, yeah. So we continued on from there. Decided, anyone in this room an identical twin? Okay, well, we're identical twins. So you spend your whole life living in each other's shadow, and you're constantly Stephen or David or fuck, which one are you? Or
Flynn twins.
Flynn twins. Yeah, we were Flynn twins. So it was like, okay, let's file for divorce and let's move apart. So I went over to Vancouver and Dave went off to South Africa. Dave went off to be a golf pro, he thought, and 3 months later he found out he really disliked golf. I went up to Vancouver and I ended up sleeping on the floor of a vegetarian. What a weirdo! So I slept on the floor of a vegetarian and I asked him, geez, can I eat what you eat for a week? Yeah, cool. Okay, great. Hippie food. So I ate like lentils and I ate quinoa and millet and bull vulgar and all this type of weird. Jeez, this is great. Yeah, okay. Where's the membership form? Can I be a vegetarian? So at the end of the week, took me form out, filled it out. I'm a vegetarian. Stephen Flynn, I'm a vegetarian. And I found up Dave at the end of the week and kind of went, Dave, decided I'm a vegetarian. Yeah, feels great. I like the whole idea of thinking about my
lo
food.
and behold, jeez, as it would happen, I decided I wanted to be a vegetarian as well.
The same week.
So twins, we're in the same boat again.
And being competitive males and kind of from the upwardly mobile middle class, you kind of, what's next? Oh, yeah. Vegan. Yeah. We'd be a vegan. Great. I'm Stephen Flynn and I'm an ex-vegetarian, but now I'm a vegan.
So a vegan is, a vegetarian that doesn't eat dairy products, so it's more extreme.
And doesn't wear leather and is into animal rights. You can take it pretty extreme.
You get up on your high horse.
So we were up on our high horse, and from there decided I'm a raw foodist.
You're a raw foodist. So this all happened over a couple of years. We were traveling, so we spent a lot of time in South America, Central America, North America, and we were looking for anything alternative. We spent our whole time, in organic farms. We were on intentional communities. We were on all sorts of different things, anything that was alternative. Spent time in meditation centers. We were, really kind of in search of truth, as you might have it.
And just to bring this back in the context of TED and why we're here, beyond our story, we went away, left kind of disillusioned meatheads, rugby playing, women absolute chasing jocks. And we came back long-haired, vegetarian, organic, rabbit food munching, long-haired, trinket wearing, hippie,
herbal tea drinking,
anything you could get that was from the alternative. We were, I'm into that. Yeah. So we came back looking all weird. And my point is that we went away, and our definition of success was as much money as you can, as quick as you can, and you win. This type of idea. But we came back with a very different mentality beyond our extroverted appearance. We were more into happiness. Lifestyle, community and togetherness.
And friendship and all this kind of working together as opposed to single greed. We did a whole switch or whatever.
And I guess the weird clothes was just to show to everyone, I've changed. This type of idea.
But during that time I got into fasting during all this alternative experiences. I want the notes for a while.
Okay.
So I got into fasting, and if anyone into fasting here? No, it's very extreme. It's pretty much starving yourself. But I met a lot of interesting people who were very inspiring, and I decided, okay, I'll try fasting. So I tried fasting, and I thought, geez, this is brilliant, great. So I call up Steve, and I say, Steve's in the south of France, and I go, Steve Flinner, tried fasting, amazing, you got to try it. So Steve was up in Corsica, and he decides, okay, right, I'll give this a shot. Sure, Dave says it's great. So he goes off, and he finds some holy mountain, and he goes off, and, spends a week starving himself, thinking lofty thoughts. And meanwhile, while this is going on, he's reflecting on what's gone on in his life or whatever, and all the experiences that he's had, and the people that we've met and all these type of things. And suddenly the idea comes to him, geez, there's a local green grocers in our town. Why don't I try and buy this? And we can use this as a platform to instigate all these changes, which we kind of decided that we thought would be worthwhile doing.
So I was on my way to America, and I stopped back for a week and went into the local greengrocer, which I'd been once or twice, and kind of walked in and can I speak to the manager? Yeah, he's in the back, and you're kind of a bit nervous. And it's like, hi, can I buy your shop, please? And he said, you kind of, and kind of worked out. He said everything's for sale at the right price. So we worked out a price and borrowed a load of money, and we took it over, and we had a platform for our food revolution. This was the guys that we went in under.
So we called it the Happy Pear. I'll just get a couple of flicks for it. It was a pun on twins, there's photos here now that'll distract you.
We started with no business plan. We started with no experience.
As you can imagine from the way we're giving our speech.
We started in...
You could understand.
Yeah, quite chaotic.
So we started with no business plan.
No
experience in retail. We didn't really know much about vegetables.
We didn't really know anything about pricing.
We really weren't by the book at all, if you know what I mean.
But we had a feeling. What we had, we did have degrees in business, but you kind of went through, business is a load of shit, this type of idea. But what we did see was we saw business as a vehicle for social change. And what we had was at that stage with this feeling, and you know you have this feeling, and you got to go do it, and you're not sure what it is, and it's only afterwards in hindsight you can go, oh, I know what that was. We wanted to create a place that brought people together and brought about people celebrating food, healthy food, and like to sound real lofty, we wanted to create a place that encouraged people to build a happier, healthier, more sustainable community. Isn't that very nice?
It's lovely, beautiful. Okay, yeah. So we started this place called the Happy Pear, and we started off as a greengrocer, and then we pretty much, as a normal greengrocer in any town in Ireland, the main customers are elders. You know, grannies. Grannies were our main customers when we first started. So
it's pretty difficult to start a food revolution with just the grannies. You need to kind of...
So we decided to glam it up and pimp up our food revolution. So we built a juice bar at the back of our shop to try and attract younger people.
Built it out of wood. Health and safety came in, break it down, spend another few grand.
We made so many mistakes or whatever anyway. But we built a juice bar anyway, and the juice bar took off. And, you know, we were really all about community and attracting the local community, encouraging health, and really promoting this type of thing. And I remember 6 months after we had started the shop or whatever, going back to a college reunion. And we both studied business, so we went along. We inherited a funky red high-ace van when we started. So we went to our business reunion class or whatever, the pair of us, and we rock up in our cool, you know, high-ace van. And we go in or whatever, and the lads are, you know, accountants, and they're stockbrokers now, and they're business executives, and they're all sorts of, you know, suit-wearing people or whatever. And we go up, and one of them says, Flinner, is that true? That isn't a story. You're not a greengrocer now, are you? What's the story about that? Tell me about that. And Steve was there beside me, and he goes, "Yep, we're living the dream. Living the dream, lads." And everyone thought, living the dream? Oh, you came here in a red high-ace van, and you sell vegetables. What are you talking about? But our whole perspective had changed so much that this was our dream. We used to get up at 4:30, go to the market, buy vegetables, you know, funking around the market, buying vegetables, come back to the shop, deal with people all day, very social interaction, great fun, build community, doing what we loved, encouraging health. So our dream had totally changed. Now it's your bit.
Okay, yeah. We had a huge amount of support from family and from family in the community. And because what we were doing wasn't... Can everyone hear me? Sorry. Because what we were doing, we weren't doing it to make a shitload of money for us or for personal, like massive personal, like exclusive gain. Our goal, our intention was to benefit the community at large. For every little aspect of our little system was going to profit from it. And because of this, we felt the community trusted us more and bought into what we were doing.
So yeah, we started we'd our vegetable shop and our pimped out juice bar. And then the building next door came up for sale, the lease did, so we took that over, and we decided to start a vegetarian restaurant, you know. Not that Greystones, our place is in Greystones, and not that Greystones has a very high vegetarian population, more so than anywhere in the country. It was just that this was our beliefs, and this is what we wanted to promote. We wanted to promote health. And we thought vegetarian food was the best way of doing it, providing healthy food that tasted good, that you know, people weren't used to getting. So we started a cafe, no restaurant experience, didn't have the slightest clue of how to run a restaurant. We once washed pots when we were 15 in a restaurant.
It's great training if anyone wants to manage a restaurant.
Great training to run a restaurant. So we started a restaurant and cafe, and it's been thriving, you know.
We're 5.5 years into it now, and it's grown from strength to strength. And I'm not going to turn around and go, we're in the Fortune 500, we have a turnover of 100 billion euros a year, and we have 50,000 really happy little employees. No, we have 30 employees. They're brilliant. They kind of make the place. We have a turnover in excess of €1 million, We're both 30 years old now, and neither of us are millionaires, or neither of us are anywhere close to millionaires. But what we do have is we've a lifestyle that's very rich in friends and community and goodwill within the community. And when I was young, I remember someone saying to me, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I can happily say that 99% of the days, I love my work. I get up, I'm excited about my work. Although I could be buying and selling vegetables, whatever. It's great crack. I have such fun and such great friends in the community, which I think is far greater value than personal wealth. A friend, will I say that little thing?
Go for it.
Okay, sorry. A friend, I remember we went and helped this man out, and he was kind of into modern day people sell their body for money, and he said this was modern day prostitution. And I guess I can happily say I'm yet to be a prostitute, which is great.
Good for you.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
Good man.
Sorry. Okay.
But like on the topic of community or whatever, like our business is very much community based. Like we put on local baking competitions, like apple pie baking contests, where we invite people down to bake apple pies, and there's judges and live music, and everyone eats apple pie, and you know it's a good laugh. It's really messy, as you can imagine, but it's great fun. There's all sorts of. We go to local schools and. During Healthy Eating Week and promote it with kids, make juices and smoothies, and you know you see 400 kids in a day, and you put on a song and a dance, as you can imagine, which we're okay at. But it's very much community based, and we really enjoy what we do. It was funny. A friend of mine came back. He came back there. He was away traveling for a couple of years, and he just came back a week or two ago. And he came back, and he was flat broke, no money, and came back, and within a day he had lined himself up with 2 weeks' work. It was like, geez, middle of recession, here you are, you lined yourself up with 2 weeks' work, painting people's houses, you know, fixing stuff and whatever. And he says to me, do you know what it is? He says, the more friends you have, the more recession-proof you are. And I thought, that's a brilliant line. And that's what I feel our business is. Our business is very much community-based. And this community insulates us that we promote, you know, things to the community. We're good for the community trusts us, therefore they support us. So being a community-based business that kind of insulates you from things that are on the outside. So like, you know, our business, we're right in the middle of the recession and we've been growing right through it. We've had the busiest February, March, and we're into the busiest April we've ever had. So there's not many, whatever, okay.
In modern business school and in modern thought, like starting your own business, you've got to be ruthless to succeed. You've got to be a hard-nosed capitalist. This type of idea is very much kind of instilled in people's idea about business. And also there's this other thought that if you're starting an ethical business, one that's socially responsible, you're going to be a charity or you're going to go bankrupt real soon. But I think quite in the contrary, in our experience, if you want your business to be genuinely sustainable, it has to offer profit to every single person. And that's what we found.
Yeah, like nowadays I think society, for the first time in history, there's more people living in cities than there are in rural communities. And the problem with people living in cities is that people tend to be isolated and there's less of a sense of community. Whereas I think, and people are they're searching for things that have meaning, that kind of have soul in them. Like that's why Facebook and all these things thrive. But I think like our business represents, it has soul. And I think people they're searching for anything that has soul, that, you know, like this tribe mentality that they can relate to, that they can
where people might know their name, where they feel like humans with names and with interests, as opposed to just numbers,
dollars coming through the door.
Oh, here comes a tenner. I can see this person's going to buy. This is a tenner, rather than, oh, that's Molly. Molly has this, that, the other name. But it's where it's human. Just to wrap up and kind of try to give a little bit of a thing that we've learned, whether you like it or you don't, I'm going to say it anyway. We've been at it 5.5 years, and these are just some lessons that we've learned. Live your dream, no matter how mad it is. If your dream is to walk on a wire across the two tallest buildings in the world, brilliant. There's probably other nuts out there who'll help you achieve it. Like you could literally be dead tomorrow. Genuinely, it could be dead tomorrow. I'm sorry, I know this makes it weird.
But to trust in yourself and trust in the people around you. And when you take that step, you'll be surprised how often life just opens up. The right person shows up to help you and you go, jeez.
It's amazing in the shop.
Like Damien's the accidental businessman. He didn't think that was going to happen, but lo and behold, here he is. He's living his dream.
There's so many times in the shop you kind of go, oh yeah, we need someone to do out the back. What do we need? We need a 16-year-old, someone that lives local, that's going to come in. Okay, I'm going to have that in my thought today. And lo and behold, a fella comes in, I'm looking for a job. And you kind of go, how old are you? 16. Do you go to school locally? Yeah. And it's like, fucking hell, life's amazing. The way it just kind of, when you trust, it just kind of looks after itself. Another thing is, oh yeah, one thing about trust is it's better to be cheated once or twice rather than be perpetually skeptical.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Very profound.
Thank you. It wasn't mine, it was someone else's. Mistakes.
Yeah, mistakes. This is the one which we've learned the most by, as you can imagine.
We make so many mistakes. But they're the greatest
catalyst to learning, to just jumping in there, make mistakes. Like, as we said, we had no business plan, no experience. We had so much enthusiasm, we had so much energy, and we were just going to make this thing work. And I think that values more than any kind of number crunching and whatever.
And lastly, the people you surround yourself are the most important. So, like I know in our place, the lifeblood and the thing that makes it what it is the people who work with us. So, whatever you surround yourself with is what it is.
Yeah, the people surround you are your greatest asset or your biggest liability, depending on how you treat them.
Yeah,
and I think, as people say, like, you know, your staff are how you treat your staff is how they're going to treat your best customers. So, look after them. So, that's our talk. Thanks a million.
Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.